Hello, my name is Gabriel. I'm a Zamzows pet room manager. We're going to go ahead and show you how to set up a 20-gallon enclosure for a Russian tortoise. Now, Russian tortoises, because of their nature, they like to burrow a lot. So I have some jungle mix by Arzilla. It's lizard litter. It's fir and sphagnum peat moss. It's a nice rich mixture that you can use to actually put down nice and deep throughout the enclosure. A 20-gallon tank works very well for a tortoise that's a smaller tortoise, something within the 4-inch to 5-inch range. You do want to give them some exercise because they are very modal. They like to move around quite a bit. So you will want to get them out and give them a little bit of exercise about twice a week. Besides that, we of course have our heating elements and our UV light for these guys. But we're going to fill up the tank first with a bunch of different stuff. First, we have a Fluker's half log as a place for them to hide under. You can set that to one side in the enclosure and it works very well. Very, very well as a way for them to get away from the heat or get away from people, everything. It's just a good place for them to hide. It's kind of like your recliner at home. Now we've got a couple of feeding dishes. We have one that's very shallow that I would use for water and one that is actually a little deeper that you can use for their greens. Now these guys are vegetarians. They do not eat anything but vegetables and greens, and out in the wild mostly grasses. So they need a lot of that in captivity as well, and with a nice deep bowl it allows them to have a good fair amount of them. And with the size that we have in here, you can usually set them side by side and they do wonderful with each other. Then we have a couple of cactuses. Now I usually use the fake cactuses because any other type of green plant, any type of silky green looking plant, silk plants, they tend to try to chew on. They're not very bright. When they see green, they think it's food. So for them, I usually use these because they don't see these as a food item. And so it keeps them from trying to do that. We also have a couple of different items here, the hygrometer and thermometer. It is both, they're both digital by Exoterra again. And these guys will help you to know where your temperature is at as well as your humidity is at. These guys really don't like a lot of humidity just because of the fact they do come from very desert-oriented areas, as high as maybe 20% in most areas. And so you can keep an eye on that with your hygrometer. And of course your temperature gauge helps you gauge where your temperature is for them. All right, now I'm going to show you the last pieces here. We have, of course, our heat wave terrarium substrate heater. It's a desert small, so it's going to put out quite a bit of heat. And you can put that on one side of the enclosure underneath the glass. It has a sticky side to help keep it stuck to the tank and help keep it heated in that area. And then you'll go over the top of that to keep the air in that area heated with an incandescent red lamp by Exoterra. It's a heat glow infrared lamp and a heat light with a ceramic top and porcelain coating on the inside, also by Exoterra. Then we also have our Exoterra UV lamp. Now UV is an extremely important part of our tortoise's enclosure. The UV light is the secondary wavelength of broad spectrum light that you would need to help them process vitamin D in their body. It's UVB rays. To process that vitamin D that they need, that their body will create using that, to then again process calcium. And calcium is extremely important with their shell growth, with bone growth, as well as it helps to keep them acting healthy and correctly in their enclosure. So between these three items for heating and lighting, you should be able to keep them very well happy in that regard. All right, we do have one more thing. It is our aquarium light timer. I usually use this in conjunction with like a power strip or something like that so that I can turn off your daylight lamp and your red heat lamp at the same time. You only need these guys to be on about 8 to 12 hours per day. And then I usually leave on my under tank heater, my mat, because it'll help to keep them warm overnight if you have a cooler home. All right. If you have any other questions, any other product information you'll need, or animal information you need, you can always check that out at zamzows.com. Thank you.